Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you watch this channel.
3 people, among them KANU Secretary General George Wainaina, have been arrested.
Interrogating 2 suspects in connection with...
Now, the DCI have made progress on this issue of KYALLO MBOBU, especially after the details that have surfaced concerning the multiple arrests. And by the way, going by the number, I understand that 7 suspects have been arrested. But out of this arrest, there is one particular suspect whom I'd like us to focus on the most.
George Wainaina.
And this is the KANU Secretary General, George Wainaina. Now, for those of you who don't remember George Wainaina, actually is the former Nairobi County Chief of Staff, served under Evans Kidero's governor leadership when Evans Kidero was actually the county governor there. But during the arrest of George Wainaina, word has it that 50 million was found in cash.
Money being found with my client at his residence. So far, I've not had any laws that prohibit anyone from carrying monies as long as they are legitimate monies. So there's no law in this country that prohibits anyone from having any amounts of money as long as it's a legitimate money. And once they're done with it, I'm sure the rightful owner of that money will be released to its rightful owner.
Now, something else that you need to understand about this arrest is that George Wainaina was quickly rushed to the hospital after he started complaining about some medical condition. I'm not going to delve into the medical status of George Wainaina. It's not good, but word has that he was hospitalized after having been arrested and detained at the KYALLO police station. So I'd like us to go back to a CCTV that has been shared.
Anaingia lifti ambapo anampisha kijana mwenye umri wa makamu kushuka. Nje katika maegesho ya magari, kamera za CCTV zinamnasa kijana huyu akiwa amevalia koti lenye rangi nyeusi na akiwa na begi mgongoni. Polisi wanasema ndiye mtu anayechunguzwa kwa karibu. Wakati huo marehemu MBOBU anaonekana akiondoka ofisini mwake. Mtu huyo anaonekana akipiga simu.
This CCTV has highlighted someone, a mysterious caller, who was first of all seen, around KYALLO MBOBU at around 5 to 5:15 there, the same hour when KYALLO was murdered. So this CCTV, ladies and gentlemen, because we have 50 million that has been confiscated, 50 million from KYALLO, from one of the suspects. We have a mysterious caller here who was seen making a call the moment KYALLO MBOBU left his office. So he made the call. Then minutes later, KYALLO MBOBU was murdered. So if this call was made at around 5:14 p.m. and eyewitness say that KYALLO MBOBU was shot at around 5:30 to 5:50 there p.m. then the DCI would like to establish who was this person calling, because the moment he completed the call, he immediately left that place. So if at all this person was talking to the assassins, let's just say for example he was talking to the assassins, then this person must have kept updating those people on the vehicle, the color and everything, so that they can actually target the correct person, because there's always a case of mistaken identity. Assuming these assassins landed on someone who is not the target, then they ended up shooting that person. There was need for that to also be clear. So one of the things which I suspect this person could have told the assassins, assuming is the one, maybe the number plate, the color of the vehicle, and whether KYALLO MBOBU was with someone or alone driving. So those are very important points which this person, assuming is involved, could have communicated with the assassins who are still being trailed. Now, let's get back to the 50 million. You know, there's a very reason why the detectives have arrested almost everyone who was present at the Sagret Hotel where KYALLO MBOBU had his last lunch. You know, that lunch, there were people there, and some of these people who have been arrested were part and parcel of that meeting. And George Wainaina is one of them. So this arrest of George Wainaina, the mysterious caller, I'd like us to explore the story in this channel, in this analysis. So this arrest of George Wainaina and the mysterious caller is the main reason why I'd like us to focus on the 50 million in cash. So before we explore this story further, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to appreciate you for the support you've given this channel ever since we started. If you wish to support us, just like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for that support. Now, I started off sometimes in the previous two videos by saying that this is going to be a difficult task. But based on the CCTVs that have been showcased, especially by NTV, KTN, and based on the arrests and subsequent hospitalization of George Wainaina, I'm looking at a serious breakthrough here, ladies and gentlemen. First, why would George Wainaina be hospitalized? One would easily say that it's because of shock. Yes, shock can lead to that kind of hospitalization, especially if maybe you thought that you were off the hook, and then all of a sudden you find that evidence is pointing at you, you know. So that will be, you're definitely going to feel like kuna some kind of shock. Now, most of the time utalazwa. See, not everybody can actually withstand shock kama hiyo. So again, if at all George Wainaina was responsible, and then you can say that he was very careless, because how could he have had a meeting with the deceased and then on the same day have the deceased murdered? You know, that was being very careless, reckless. If at all, maybe they thought that, I'm just assuming that meeting, most of the plan there was on this issue of dealing with KYALLO MBOBU. Remember, George Wainaina's lawyer talked about a business talk, that it was just a business talk. But if you look at what has happened, you find that the same day there are these kind of things happening. Then one will easily link that, easily link the meeting, the lunch they had, with the final. Would easily link the lunch they had with this murder. That is a factor. If I was the DCI, that is what I would have done, ladies and gentlemen. Now, of course, the lawyer talked about one can have as much as you want in your nyumbani kwako. So 50 million in cash is what George Wainaina had in his possession when he was arrested. You know, someone would easily say that hii 50 million labda ilikuwa ni pesa ya kulipa wale watahusika. You know, if at all the DCI successfully interrogates this matter and nails George Wainaina as a prime suspect, whom I think they are already nailing him as a prime suspect, if at all that is successful, then this 50 million itakuwa ni maybe ya kulipa wale walihusika. You know, maybe ilikuwa ni kungoja kwanza mambo tulie kabisa alafu walipwe 50 million, because you cannot pay them through check. You can't pay them through check. You can't transfer M-Pesa to them. You can't do that, because there will be some kind of web that when the analysis of how money was shared is out there, then utajikuta kwamba wewe utapatikana. Of course, there's something I pointed out in our previous analysis kwamba where MBOBU was shot, hapo kuna missing camera. Sasa hapo ndo kuna shida, because if at all there was that camera hapo ambayo imechukua hiyo, imecapture hiyo incident, then ingekuwa rahisi kabisa to actually conclude this story. But just because pale kuko missing, it's forcing the DCI to come back and create this story from the source, and the source is that office. So all these arrests, the 7 arrests, ladies and gentlemen, let's just hope that they are going to lead us to someone. Hey, Carlos already talked about if Ruto is responsible. I mean,
the perpetrators must be brought to book expeditiously. Whether it is William Ruto or whoever who is responsible for the killing.
But you see that it's politics. Just treat that as a political statement. But the DCI will nail these people. These people are going to be arrested. The real culprits. Maybe how many suspects too, or the real picture of who are actually involved. Remember, in the case of Omondowere, we had more than 10 suspects in custody. You know, and the case of Albert Ojwang, we had more suspects also, but the case of Omondowere had actually the arrests went beyond 10 suspects, on 10 suspects. So we are expecting that this issue of KYALLO MBOBU, if at all it is to be concluded, there are so many people who are going to be arrested, and Murkomen already said it, that so many will come on board. I'm looking at Kungu Muigai also, maybe someone who is a person of interest. That Shylock, a person of interest, the one that I understand lent KYALLO around 12 million and was demanded around more than 50 million because KYALLO had defaulted. That person might also be arrested. So there's going to be so much arrests, ladies and gentlemen. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you've not subscribed, take 1 second and subscribe, like this video. Until you catch up again, stay safe and stay blessed.
Thank you once again for choosing YOLENO TV as your favorite political channel.